Welcome to everybody. Welcome everybody. Warm welcome to our guests, our Toastmasters International. I have never been in a meeting with this many people. It is wonderfully overwhelming, but I'm super excited because meeting you all from all the places everybody's coming from. We are everywhere in the world in this very moment with the best leaders. I want to welcome you, sit back and relax as we officially commence the launch meeting of Leadership Speak. Leadership Speak is a club that provides a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. My name is Nikita Winkler. I am your Sergeant at Arms for today, here to ensure a smooth virtual experience for everyone. And with that said, please just make sure that your mics are silent, that we can see your full name, ideally with your district number. Then I would like to welcome our Toastmaster of the day, Brent Patterson. He is a unique leader with 25 years of global leadership experience that understands the importance of connecting diverse groups of people through leveraging technology and learning. Brent is a Toastmaster for over 2 years, a previous Vice President of Education, and the sponsor and future club president for Leadership Speak. So can we please raise our hands, put our hands together as we welcome Brent Patterson.
Thank you very much, Nikita. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending our launch meeting for the Perspective Club that we want to get off the ground and hopefully charter here very, very quickly. And in order to do that, we've created an exciting agenda of some very accomplished speakers to provide us with some really great perspectives on their views on leadership and why it's so fundamentally important for our growth here within Toastmasters clubs. So I wanted to really kick off the meeting with a little bit of an understanding of why this club, why now. And we do have, Brahm is going to speak to us very shortly in a much more articulated vision of the Leadership Speak Club. But I really wanted to just touch on a brief introduction of why are we trying to start this club and get people from around the globe to connect on Saturday mornings and in this type of format. So first off, I like to start with why. So why Leadership Speak? I think it actually really aligns well when we look at Toastmasters International's envisioned future, that is to be the first choice provider of dynamic, high value, experimental communications and leadership skills development. And that's what this club is going to be focused upon, is truly focused on leadership skills development by bringing together Toastmasters who have that same interest. So what exactly is it? It's going to be an advanced club. Participants should be experienced Toastmasters who have achieved level 3 in their pathways. It will be a global club. In other words, no borders here. And we will be connected through technology, but continue to look for new ways to leverage technology in an effective way towards our own leadership development. And the content really will be focused on that, on leadership development. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to continue to invite exciting keynote speakers and also encourage members as they're completing Pathways projects to really focus on projects focused on leadership and leadership development. A significant focus on evaluating evaluators. Evaluations, as we are all aware of, have a truly dynamic effect on the quality of meetings, but also the quality of learning and the development of coaching and mentoring skills. But not all evaluations are created equal. And like every good speech, there are opportunities for improvement and also an opportunity to create motivation for others to evaluate in the future. So we will have a focus in all of our meetings on effectively evaluating our evaluations. And then lastly, our table topics will consistently be geared towards topics related to innovative leadership methods and creating discussion and practical application or relating of personal success stories or maybe failure stories as it relates to the application of different leadership techniques. So who is this club for? It's really for people who are currently in Toastmasters and want to be more effective leaders within their local clubs. It's also for people who just want to develop leadership skills for their own personal growth. And then I really do think that sometimes there's individuals, myself included in this group, who start down a pathways project stream, but then we get stalled up because we're more focused on the different aspects, whether it's giving evaluations or participating in table topics, but we stall on the completion of those pathways. Maybe it's because our past experience hasn't really helped us relate it, but it also should serve as an opportunity within a different format of a club of individuals who are truly focused on leadership development as their primary driver, as an additional continued motivation to continue to get the most out of the Pathways projects and work towards those completions, and really working towards the establishment of people who want to strive to achieve that distinguished Toastmaster status. And on that note, I'd like to move into the rest of our agenda today. I don't want to belabor you anymore, and let's get into the exciting presentations that we have from our keynote speakers today. Before we go there, I would first like to introduce our grammarian for the day, Anya Gancher. Anya is a member of District 86. She is the current president of Speedville Toastmasters, and I've worked with Anya actually since my first joining Toastmasters. So please welcome Anya, who is our grammarian for the day.
Thank you very much, Brent. And when you talk about evaluations, I always remember when you were at Speed River, you gave great evaluations. And that's really I think that's one of the best parts about Toastmasters. We keep learning, and we keep learning from great evaluations. And today I'm your grammarian. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. What a wonderful meeting, and all these beautiful people and smiles here. So the word of the day, how could we not have seal being a Toastmaster? So seal, zealously, meaning eager, desire, strong endeavor, characterized by something devoted, diligent, and enthusiastic. And my example is, I walked into a Toastmaster Zoom meeting and I met all these zealous Toastmasters. And back to you, Brent.
Thank you very much, Anya. Next up, I would like to introduce our timer for the day, Sean DeBelchor. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Mr. Patterson, how are you? How is everyone doing today? Good morning and welcome to our Leadership Speak event today. I am honored to be here today, and my role as a timer is to tell you what the timer role is about. Now, if you look at the chat, there is an agenda that's posted, so I highly encourage you all to follow that. And I believe, based on the agenda, we have 3 speakers today, and we have Mr. Kokocki, whose speech is going to be 8 to 10 minutes, and we have a second speaker, Miss Pat Johnson, whose time is 5 to 7 minutes. And the last but not least is Miss Yolanda Bynum, 5 to 7 minute speech. So what does that mean? So when the speaker hits 5 minutes, I will be changing my beautiful blue background, my timer background, as you can see, to green. And I'm just going to display that for you. And when that speaker reaches 6 minutes, it's going to change into yellow. And when 7 minutes, it's going to change to red. That means that that speaker would have to wrap up. Now, for Mr. Kokocki's speech, because it's an 8 to 10 minute speech, it will be green when he reaches 8. When he reaches 9 minutes, it'll be yellow. And when he reaches 10, it'll be red. It's just a warning that he needs to wrap up. That's basically it. And at the end of the meeting, I will be giving a timer's report. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Patterson.
Thank you very much, Sean. And I will actually say we're going to have 4 speakers today because I think you may have missed Brahm's speech, which is a 12 to 15 minute speech right at the, there you go.
Okay, thank you. So,
no problem. Which really brings us to that exciting introduction. Brahm Memone is the current club growth director of District 86. He's been a Toastmaster for over 25 years, twice achieving his distinguished Toastmaster status. He, as I mentioned, is the current club growth director. He was the coach of the year in 2020. Professionally, Brahm is a master coach in the space of personal mastery and leadership, and is a consultant and coach to large organizations. He's also the chief architect and design mastermind behind My Speak Toastmasters, which has been a spectacular success. It's one of the top 4 clubs globally, and he was also the immediate past president of that same club. My Speak Toastmasters has been awarded Club of the Year in 2021 for District 86. Coming to us today with his speech on Leadership Speak. Leadership Speak, Brahm Memone. Brahm?
Thank you, Brent, for that introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, sit back, and let me tell you why we have created an advanced club with focus on leadership development, and we called it Leadership Speak. You will, if you will look, there's a presentation going on right behind me here, and I'll take you through it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just settle my technology. As always, it's always tricky with technology, right? So there we go. Here I am. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, guests, let's have a look at this. And I still haven't got my technology right. Okay, there we go. I think we have it right now. So leadership development in a virtual world. Why virtual world? Is because this club is purely based online, and we want a global reach, and we want to be able to sort of have conversations with leaders or potential leaders throughout the Toastmasters world, anywhere and everywhere at any time. But we will be meeting Saturdays 9:30 a.m., which is Toronto time, in District 86. Now, Brent did mention in the introduction that My Speak has reached spectacular success. Let me tell you a little bit about it, and this is what we'll be using, and the next level up from what we did at My Speak. So at My Speak Toastmasters Club, what we did was in February of 2020, I was appointed the coach, and there were only 2 active members in that club. Out of 8, 6 members were not participating at all. And I was the club coach. And now, you know what happened in March of that year? In March of that year, there was a global pandemic, everything closed down. And when everything closed down, when with only 2 active members, we had to do something different and something out of the box. And so we declared ourselves to be an online club only in District 86, perhaps one of the very first clubs that said, hey, there's no other option, but we will be permanently online. And we set the trend at the time, and we created a vision of to be a world-class club in online meetings. And some of you have visited that club with us. By June 2020, there were 23 members in this club. So from February to June, within 4 or 5 months, we had 23 members, and were presidents distinguished as well. That is unheard of during a pandemic. Then what happened is I got the Club Coach of the Year award because of my efforts with the club. I joined the club in July after the club had got the distinguished status, and they made me the president. They wanted me to continue as the president because of what I had set with the club. And I had, of course, a great, wonderful, amazing team. There were 3 women, and I will mention them in case they are in the audience. There was Kiran Pothula, Veena Jayavikram, and Gerda Felix. So with those 3 people, we created something unprecedented. By June 2021, we had 53 members and 124 education awards, and we were one of the top 4 performing clubs globally. Now, what can we do taking that mindset and that way of leading and putting together teams and collaboration and so on to the next level is what we are here for in Leadership Speak, advanced leadership development for everyone to take it to the next level, not only in Toastmasters, but anywhere in your life, in your organization, in your family, in your communities that you partake in, wherever you are able to sort of create something that is out of the box. And we're going to talk a little bit about it. And that's why you want to join this club, is to be able to learn those and take it out into the world. So let's have a look at a few things to begin with. First of all, in an online setting, as you can see on your screen, when you first came in, there were all these little squares everywhere and everyone is isolated. So we tried our best to say hello and connect with people, right? But there is more isolation in an online meeting and in an online world than ever before. And that's why some of the people are despaired, people are frustrated, stressed out, irritated. It is out of the norm from what they've ever experienced. And this is the condition is currently, if you look at this picture here, right? Employees are who have just gotten out of college and that are joining an employer. What's happening to them? They are feeling very isolated because they are not meeting anybody in the organization. They only speak to the manager, they're given their work, and they have to do their best in trying to navigate through the world and try and get the work done. And it is the same in Toastmasters. Here's a picture of my speak when I started coaching. Everyone there you see is really a guest who came to support from the district. That's me, I'm the coach over there. And of course, this is one of the 2 active members, and the person who took the picture was the other active member. And what happened during the pandemic is we went to this all of a sudden from the physical meeting, right? So from the warmth of the meeting, physically, we went there in these tiny boxes and everyone is now isolated. So what do we do to create that community that we created in MySpeak so that we had 53 members? Currently, actually, I think we are at 58 members. The secret is getting people engaged and learning the leadership style to get engagement. When people are engaged and you are engaged, that is a great thing. It has been said, and it's through a poll that has been taken, that 80% of the people in organizations are not engaged. If 80% of people are not engaged in an organization at their workplace, we expect the same to be in Toastmasters, because whatever you do in Toastmasters happens out in the world. Whatever happens out in the world, you're doing in the Toastmaster. It's not. I mean, it is very seamless in actually, and it's not confined to different areas, right? So, having said that, let's look at what really creates engagement in the virtual world. And there's 3 things, and this is what you really need to pay attention to, is what I'm about to tell you. This is the secret sauce of success. Ready? Yeah, let's go. Your leadership. Now, there's how many books do you think there are on Amazon.com when you type in the word leadership? I think there are over 200,000 books on leadership, just alone on Amazon. And if you type leadership in Google in like 0.267 seconds, whatever, millions of entries will appear. And yet we lack leadership, because everywhere leadership is treated as a science. But leadership is not really a science. Sure, it is a science in terms of do this, do that, leaders do that, and here's your job description, and here's what your followers do, and so that's just a science. But the art is the true expression of you as a human being, and who you are and how you express yourself. That's an art. And when we don't know the art of leadership and who we really are, and how we can speak with conviction and confidence when we really understand ourselves, that is the art of leadership. So with leadership, if you take technology, which is right now, this is what I'm using. I'm using technology and skillfully use technology. Then you will be able to create experiences that are out of the box and unprecedented experiences. So this is the triad of leadership on a virtual world. And there are many different aspects to this, of course. This is just a simplified model of leadership, that this is what creates engagement. In any organization, if you get these three things down packed, that's where the engagement is. So ladies and gentlemen, the circle of engagement is very, very important to understand, and what you bring to the table. It doesn't matter where you are at currently in the station of your life, but through joining Leadership Speak and getting into the program of Toastmasters and being coached and mentored by some of the best people around, and surrounding yourself people with like-minded people, what you get is you tend to grow faster, right? So having said that, let's look at this. The circle of engagement will create connection, a better connection than what you would normally get. You will be able to collaborate effectively in your teams, not only in Toastmasters, but everywhere else. Creativity will be enhanced, and you'll be able to create with your team unprecedented, out-of-the-box projects that will create a community that will bind people together as a community. And that's where growth is. The growth is both your personal and your leadership development growth, as well as the growth of the club or the growth of your organization, the growth of your family, friends, or any community that you partake in. There's going to be growth. However, now in Toastmasters, what's the problem in some of the clubs that are saying, it's a pandemic and we can't really function well? Well, yeah, sure, we learn how to communicate. We stand up and we speak, and it's from the Pathways program, right? But there's a wall between communicating and connecting with people. The thing is, words flow back and forth, and we try and communicate, but we are not really connecting with people. And how do you connect with people? That's an important aspect of leadership in a virtual world. So what we need to do is to remove the wall, to break down the wall between communication and connection, and bring that leadership, the leadership development that is available in this club. That is the bridge. The bridge is leadership, and the sort of leadership that will create the bridge between communication and connection, that creates the engagement, that creates communities, that creates and unleashes creativity, by the way. And that is the bridge where this thing all happens, is the leadership here in the Advanced Club, which is focused purely on leadership development. That's the bridge between communication and connection, and taking yourself to the next level and developing yourself. Now, of course, we are in the virtual world, right? So what do we focus on an everyday basis, by the way? We are on the Zoom virtual world. So of course, your virtual presence, how you use the space, how you use technology to make presentations, and the evaluators will be asked to focus on that aspect of it. Most clubs that I visited, even though they are online and virtual, they don't tend to focus on how the virtual space is being used. And so there'll be a focus on as well, how are you using this virtual space? What are you doing with it? Okay. And as Brent has mentioned, there'll be a lot of different types of evaluations available, and there'll be this leadership evaluation, which is the Toastmaster of the day is the manager, and the Toastmaster of the day is the meeting leader. And how are they doing as a manager and a leader, right? And there'll be an emphasis on that and the commitment, and then on that commitment to create the meeting and the agenda with the help of the Vice President of Education, of course. The next thing is, of course, as functionary, for example, the general evaluator. That's the coaching skill, and you will learn coaching skill at the next level on how to coach a club, how to coach the Toastmaster of the day, all the functionaries that are in the club, on the agenda, and making sure that the meeting is run the way it's supposed to be learned to run. So you will learn those skills of coaching. And there'll be leadership education sessions. Now that session is this session here, right, that I'm doing right now. Today it's 15-minute session, but it normally be about 5 to 7 minute session based on leadership. And you'll get an opportunity to present your viewpoint of leadership or what you know about leadership, and you'll get help from coaches and mentors within the club in being able to take that presentation and make it clear and focused, and be able to make that presentation with conviction and confidence, so that there's growth in you as well at the same time when you're doing that presentation. Evaluations will be evaluated, which is again a coaching skill. Presentation skills, as well as communication. Those are the 4 aspects, right? Leadership, coaching, communication, and being a manager, right? Those are the 4 main core competencies. And there's, of course, 300 minor competencies within those 4 competencies, or in pathways that you can learn, depending on your focus. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, if you've seen this cartoon before, the guy below the steps says, I was wondering when you'd notice there are more steps to go up, because, you know, most of us end up in a community club or corporate club over here, but there's a lot more steps further up, which is the leadership development aspect. And that is where you get in this club here. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is leadership development in a virtual world. This is Leadership Speak. Welcome to the club, and enjoy the rest of the keynotes. Back to you, Brent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brahm. Now that is presenting with zeal. Very good, sir. All right. Next up, I would like to introduce a distinguished Toastmaster, a published writer, a speaker, a speech coach, and former international president for Toastmasters International, who happens to reside in St. John, New Brunswick. Jim Kokocki, professional career spanned information technology, sales and marketing, retiring from Bell Alliance back in 2012. Then he went on to serve as president and board chair for Large St. John, which is an organization that works with people with intellectual disabilities, and he currently remains a member of the board. Coming to us today with his keynote speech, Jim Kokocki, Positivity from Leaders. Positivity from Leaders, Jim Kokocki. Jim?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. It's exciting to be here. I'm excited by the potential for this club. I love that you've got a theme, a purpose around Leadership Speaks that I think will really resonate with folks around the world. And I know there's several dignitaries in the audience today, and it's always dangerous to do this, but I do want to mention some of them. So my fellow past international president, Pat Johnson, I see in the audience. I see, of course, Club Growth Director Brahm and Program Quality Director Iona. I see a couple of past district directors in Tony and Vitali. So welcome, and it's just a delight to be here at your launch. Now, leadership is very broad. Brahm covered that very, very well. I'm going to talk about a very narrow aspect of it. Leadership is about, of course, planning and organizing and delegating. It's about developing people, giving positive feedback, negative feedback, dealing with people who are not performing, dealing with people who've got challenges in their lives that are causing them to not able to perform as expected. So I'm going to talk about a very narrow slice. It's about positivity. And we've seen a great example of that today. I was just delighted at the start of the meeting how Brahm and folks were greeting people and saying a very positive theme. And as leaders, especially in these times in 2022, we need to be just paragons of positivity. We need to be exemplars of positivity. We need to lead with zeal and excitement. So let me take you through some thoughts on that. So first, I want to encourage you to be positive with customers, staff, and members. More broadly, outside of Toastmasters, we need to be positive with customers and staff. And a brief story, some years ago, I was in our city market here in St. John, New Brunswick, and there's a beautiful little fruit stand and vegetable stand at the bottom of the market. And there was this grumpy old guy, and that's a picture of him. I snapped a picture of him that day. Grumpy old guy, and he's going around saying, oh, these bananas are almost rotten. And, oh, look at this lettuce is all wilted. And you've probably been in a similar situation, and other customers were moving away and feeling awkward, and staff were moving away and feeling awkward. And a grumpy old customer came to the peaches, and he said to the operator, he said, "Are these peaches hard or soft?" And the manager kind of smiled, and he says, "Well, sir, how do you like them?" And the grumpy old guy smiled, lightened the mood, and he did a wonderful job of just changing the mood, changing the culture. As leaders, we are responsible for the mood and the culture. So we've seen some very good examples of that today. And as you continue to work on your leadership skills, please work hard on setting the culture. You set the mood for your meetings, for your organization. So that should be simple, right? Just give a pat in the back. It's easy to give people a pat in the back. And if you ask most people if they're strong at that, they'll say, yeah, I'm pretty good at giving positive feedback and recognizing good behavior. But a couple of my favorite researchers, guys named Zinger and Folkman, I think I've got their name on the next slide, actually. I hope I do. Jack Zinger, Z-E-N-G-E-R, Z-E-N-G-E-R, and Folkman, Joe Folkman, F-O-L-K-M-A-N. They do some wonderful research on various topics. So they decided to research this. They said, okay, let's do some surveys where we describe some scenarios, and we then ask various managers how they would perform in these situations. Were they likely to give feedback? And here's what they found. They found, Zinger Folkman is the name of the organization, they found by executing these tests and these surveys that there was a bias, a preference, if you will, a bias towards giving negative feedback. Managers were more likely to give negative feedback. That's not what they expected. That's not what people said they would do, but it's what they answered in surveys. So 56% were more likely to give negative feedback, 31% were more likely to give positive feedback, and about 12% were kind of a balance. So we want to grow that 12%, right? We need to give corrective feedback, constructive performance feedback when required. But we also need to be very, very good at recognizing positive behaviors. So they asked a question in the article. He said, well, why would this be? And they speculated, well, maybe it's because we think leaders are tough and they give tough feedback, and that's what you need to do. So they're not entirely just prescriptive in what to do to correct it or why this is the case. But it's important to recognize that this is a bias in the majority of the folks they surveyed. And I would suspect that's a bias with our people on the call today. We think we're good at giving positive feedback, but let's exercise that skill. So how can you give positive feedback? Just catch people doing things right, supporting fellow employees. You can say, look, Iona, I noticed you saw someone who was struggling over there with some volume today, and I know it's not your responsibility, but I saw that you gave some support. So thanks for that. That's the sort of behavior we need if the team's going to be successful. Recognize people when they're working on their skill development, whether specifically job specific, or if they're joining an organization like Toastmasters, like Leadership Speaks Toastmasters, to develop their skills. Recognize that, sometimes privately, sometimes publicly. A lot of people are uncomfortable with public praise, but most people appreciate a little bit, and it's a tool for you as a leader. Recognize the behaviors that you want to see other people emulate. Recognize the behaviors you want to see other people copy. You can recognize consistently good work, and often we neglect that. We say, Nazim knows he does good work. I don't need to tell him that. He knows. I've told him that. I told him that a couple of years ago. So let's recognize consistently good work. Let's recognize displays of culture and values. We've got 4 core values in Toastmasters. Let's find opportunities to emphasize and recognize privately and publicly, and influence folks to emulate more of those successful core values. Let's recognize flexibility in style and approach. You've probably worked with folks in Toastmasters and beyond Toastmasters who are very narrow. This is my job. This is what I do. And that can be okay. Most people just want to do a good job at their prescribed tasks. Sometimes we need to show flexibility. So let's recognize that if that's important to your organization. I know some organizations will be militant about staying in your lane. That might be okay, but there will always be times when you need to work a little bit outside your lane. So show some flexibility. Those folks who are achieving results, doing the right things, displaying core values, and helping other employees. So why should you exercise a positive attitude? This should be obvious, but one that's not obvious is sometimes managers and leaders forget that the team wants you to succeed. You might be feeling tremendous stress and being uncomfortable. The team doesn't want the team to flounder. They don't want to see you flounder. They want to see the team be successful. So, take some pride in that. I know in business, sometimes your peers might not want you to succeed, but your employees and most folks will want you to succeed. So take confidence in that. Also, your team needs to understand the team goals and the behavior that results in achievement. They want to be successful. They want to win. They want to know what are the behaviors, what do I need to do? How can I contribute to team success? So let's do a good job of communicating that. And positive feedback on employee behavior should drive similar behavior in other folks. Whether we realize it or not, we're always constantly looking around saying, what gets recognized around here? What are the behaviors, the successes that really get recognized? So when you, as a leader, recognize the behaviors you need to see emulated, that the team needs to see emulated, people will copy that. And finally, your concern for others will be viewed positively by employees. You want to be a leader, you want to be a manager who people look at and say, Jim does a good job of recognizing people who are doing good work. So get yourself into that consideration zone. So I've touched upon a very narrow element in leadership. There's so many elements to leadership, but being positive is a really powerful tool in your arsenal. So I invite you to join this club. I'm excited to see what happens when Leadership Speaks, and as you explore different points of view and various narrow topics and broad topics of leadership, you've got a wonderful opportunity here to become a more effective leader. Back to you, Mr. Club President Brent.
Thank you very much, Jim. Well done. It's an amazing statistic that people actually prefer giving negative feedback versus focusing on the positive. And I think it's a very valuable one for us all to remember that, really when at the end of the day, I relate it back to Brahm's speech of what leaders really do is build that bridge between communication and connection. And it's through creating that positive environment that those connections really are established. So thank you very, very much for that, Jim. All right, next up, I would like to start by introducing yet another past international president. Pat Johnson is the past international president of Toastmasters International. She is the owner of Pat Johnson and Associates, where she coaches leaders to help them find their greatest versions of their authentic selves. She works to help individuals overcome their self-limitations and to aspire to more in life. She is also an affiliate and mentor coach at Accomplishment Coaching. Coming to us today with her speech, Outside Your Comfort Zone. Pat Johnson, Outside Your Comfort Zone. Pat.
Thank you so much, Brent, and welcome to past International President Jim Kokocki, my colleague, as well as all district leaders present and past. I acknowledge you for your leadership and the gifts that you have shared with people around the world through Toastmasters and your life. Today, I want to take you on a bit of a journey. I want to explore some of the concepts that keep us stuck and hopefully give you a tool that you can use beyond today as you spend time in Leadership Speak or your other clubs. So a couple of concepts, first of all. What I've discovered is that when I'm comfortable and I'm sitting in my club and I'm sitting back and I go, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I know exactly what Jim's going to speak on and what topic he's going to be predisposed to speak on. I don't bring a lot of zeal and excitement to that meeting. I'm just comfortable. Well, when I was growing up, I heard that if you're in close to that tree and you're hugging the trunk of that tree, That's where the safety is, right? If the storm's brewing, we're right in there hugging something hard and solid. But where the adventure begins is when we creep out onto the ends of those branches. And now we're going to start learning, because it's scary. It's unknown. And I'm going to encourage you to go there today. We want to move out of our comfort zone into that unknown, but also where possibility actually lives. When we're tight against that tree, we know what it's going to be. Out on the end of branches, possibilities exist. So I'm going to ask you to quick, it can just be a scrap piece of paper if you've got a pen or a pencil. If you don't, just imagine. And I'm going to ask you to draw a circle on that page, just a simple circle that you can actually write inside and leave some space on the outside of it to write as well. So if you've got your paper, and I hear some of you looking for your paper, I want you to write some things inside that circle. So imagine that circle is your comfort zone. Inside there are the things that you're comfortable doing already. I want you to write some things in there, some things that you're comfortable doing that you know your friends and colleagues are not comfortable doing. So just to prime the pump, that might be speaking in front of other people. And can I ask you to mute, please, because we've got some background noise going on. Thanks, everyone. So write in that circle some things that you're comfortable doing that you believe others around you are uncomfortable doing. So for me, that would be presenting in front of any number of people. That might be for me singing on a stage in front of a whole bunch of people, because I'm okay with that. I didn't used to be, but somehow I got that into my comfort zone. So I'll leave you to finish that later on today, because I'm timed today, but write some more things inside your comfort zone so you can celebrate who you are as a leader and give specific thoughts to your speaking skill as well as your leadership skills when you're looking at that circle. Now, I want you to write on the outside of that circle some things that you're not super comfortable doing yet. And maybe because of the context today, specifically in leadership. So Jim talked about providing feedback. Is that one of the things that you're comfortable doing? Can you give good, clear feedback when it's to correct a behavior? Or are you comfortable relaying a vision or inspiring people to follow your vision? Are you good at building a team? Are you committed to your own personal growth and development? So just some of the things as a leader. So I'll give you 30 seconds to write some of those things that you're uncomfortable doing. Okay, so I want to challenge you, because when we look at the things that are inside our comfort zone, we can continue building on those and using those. Those are our strengths already. But the development in this club or in a learning environment, rich learning environment, is the opportunity to work on those things outside our comfort zone. And let me share some of the steps that I believe, just quickly, that you can take in terms of building that strength. So when we consider, what was your icebreaker, if we draw the parallel, what was your icebreaker to leadership? Was it club president? Was it area director? What was that really scary moment in leadership? And embrace that and use that to build on. So how do we actually keep moving forward to develop those things outside our comfort zone and bring them inside our comfort zone. We want to embrace that we've got structure and outline in the Toastmasters program. Get yourself an outstanding leadership mentor. I know, but do pick somebody that's done what you want to do and they've done it exceptionally well. That's the person you want as a mentor, someone who's going to hold you high and help you build to your full potential. So get a mentor. Take the feedback and ask yourself, does this support your growth and where you want to go? Not all feedback is helpful. We as leaders have to dig through that feedback and say, that's in alignment with my vision for myself. And I embrace that. I'll work on that. And look at role models. Find those role models that exemplify who you want to be and what you want to develop. And lastly, but certainly not the least, is self-reflection. Know yourself. And that's the greatest work that we do as leaders, is to always work for that authentic heart approach, to be vulnerable, to be who we are and be good enough for our audience and for ourselves. So I'll leave you with the circle, our comfort zone, and I'm going to challenge you personally to step outside your comfort zone into that area of possibility. And I look forward to seeing your growth in this club. Over to you, Brent.
Thank you so very much, Pat. And that lesson of stepping outside your comfort zone or playing to the edge of your fears and overcoming and challenging them really is what ends up making the difference, as well as inspiring others, which of course is a huge component of being an effective leader. All right, next up in our prepared presentations for today, our last keynote speaker is the former world champion of public speaking in 2017. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Yolanda Bynum, leading by an eagle's example. Yolanda Bynum. Yolanda?
Hello. First, I want to make sure everyone can see my screen. It's important. Can everyone see my screen?
We can, however, there you go. Now you're in presentation mode. Perfect.
Outstanding. So we are going to talk today about leading by an eagle's example. I'm going to love this. This is so much fun. Okay, so first we are going to compare the qualities of an eagle to that of a leader. After that, we are going to hone in on 3 good qualities of a good leader, and you will see how those link up into that eagle. And lastly, we are going to talk about how we can take these leadership qualities and apply them to the world, including the virtual one, which is one of the most important things that we have to deal with today. So let's look at the qualities of the leader versus that of an eagle. The eagle always soars above any challenges. And instead of heading directly into a storm, it sees if the storm is coming. As a matter of fact, an eagle can actually sense that the storm is coming, and it'll always rise above it and stay on course to its destination. Now, eagles have a very strong sense of vision. Just like this particular image that you see on the screen, you'll always notice that the eagle is high above and they are looking down below to make sure that they notice everything. And they do notice every little thing. They will also be aware if there's any dangers that are going to pose risk to the destination that they are trying to go to, so that they can respond immediately to it. Lastly, they are fearless and tenacious. And they're also very, very zealous. If you take a look at the eagle. They step into any situation with a sense of fearlessness, meaning they will not let any situation deter them from their destination or their goal. They are also tenacious, meaning they are persistent and they will not allow anything to take them off course. They are determined to meet that goal no matter what. Now, how do these qualities look in a leader? I'm glad you asked. The leaders will also rise above any challenge that come, and they will continue to rise to higher heights. So they will never stay at ground level. They will never stay at the level that they ended up on. They will always continue to raise up to higher levels. And they will make sure that if there are any people behind them, that they will also raise up with them and follow them no matter what. They will also effectively communicate the vision that they have, and they will drive their team to accomplish that vision and goal no matter what. And they also have to keep their team motivated and engaged consistently. Now, the image that you see right there beside the word shows the leader, and it shows an awesome depiction of these qualities. And I'll note, you cannot tell which one is the leader in that picture. Each person on the team is doing something actively. You'll see one helping one get to the top. You'll notice another one helping the others along, and you will notice those that are cheerleading. So no matter who the leader is, you can tell that they have led by example, and the team is doing the same. What a beautiful depiction of a leader making sure that they keep their team motivated. Now, I would like for us to look at the leadership qualities just a little bit closely. And there's that awesome picture once again. So the leader will have effective communication skills. They will make sure that collaboration and teamwork are always present. Take a look at that picture. You can tell that there's collaboration going on because people are helping, and you can tell that there's teamwork going on because each member of the team is doing something. Again, even though there's no words, you can tell that there's motivation and encouragement going on real time here in this picture. Now, don't you want to get right in line and do whatever is going on in that particular picture? So lastly, I'm going to look at how leaders can apply these qualities to this real-time virtual world. That's included. Now, a leader will find creative ways to connect with your team. If you think about the ways that we as leaders on this call have been engaged to participate, you'll see those leadership qualities already at work. And you saw the creativity across the board of the leaders of our wonderful Toastmasters districts. So you see it here in real time. They will make the meetings fun and engaging. Have you ever been at a meeting where you were going, man, I could have phoned this in? Leaders have to make sure that the meetings are always fun, and they always keep everybody that is in those meetings engaged at all times. And lastly, please don't forget to engage everyone. You will always notice that there are those that are quiet and they will not say anything at meetings. The team leader will make sure that no person is left behind. They make sure every single solitary person is engaged at all times. Now let's look at that collaboration and teamwork. Once again, I'll reiterate this point with this point. Make sure everyone feels like part of the team. As you saw in that image, everybody played a part. Make sure that everybody's voice is heard, even if you have some quiet individuals. And let everyone have their moment in the spotlight. There are some people that will not say a word. Make sure you reach out to them and give them the spotlight so that they can shine. The leader will also keep us moving forward, regardless of challenges and obstacles that face us. So we will never stop achieving that goal. We also want to make sure that people are growing. What are these things here for but to make sure that we grow? And the leader will make sure that there is growth throughout the team. And lastly, keep them present both in the overall vision as well as their individual goals. It's not just about us, but it's about them as well. So now that I've told you exactly how to ignite your team by using effective communication, collaboration and teamwork, and keeping them motivated and engaged. Now, I would like you, Eagles, to go right on ahead and soar. Back over to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Yolanda. If only we can all approach leadership with the same zeal as the Eagles. All right, we are just about to take a very brief break for anyone who needs to make a washroom break or maybe grab a drink of water. Before we do that quick break, I just wanted to invite our timer to provide the timing of the speeches to the audience as well as the speakers, and then we can jump to break. Sean?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster Patterson. I am overly zealous to provide those timing reports. Okay, so I'm going to start off with Mr. Memone. Mr. Memone, your speech was 14 minutes and 42 seconds. Great job. Mr. Jim's speech, I want to apologize. I did pronounce your name correctly, so my apologies for that, but it's 9 minutes and 13 seconds. And Ms. Pat Johnson, 7 minutes and 58 seconds. And Ms. Yolanda, 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Great job, everyone. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster Patterson.
Thank you very much, Sean. On that note, I'd like to give us all a 5-minute break. However, for anyone who doesn't need a break, you're welcome, of course, to stick around. And if you would like to ask any questions about Leadership Speak and what we're trying to create in this club, now would be a great time to do that while we're on break. But otherwise, I'd like to say that we will pick everything back up in 5 minutes at 10:32 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you, Brent.
Then it depart, folks. Thanks for the invitation. Best wishes. You've got something very good going here.
For all the listeners,
you,
I
Jeff.
would like to present the Eagle Award to no other than Brahm in the meantime. Here we go. Leadership.
Thank you,
The
Nazim.
epitome
Much
of
honored.
leadership. Thank you so much for this presentation. Anyways, but this goes to you. So let's give him a round of applause in the absence of the others. I'm sorry to be rude, but I can't resist. Thank you.
Thank you. And Nazim, there have actually been people signing up already, even before we ended this meeting. They said, send me the form in the chat. They provided it to me. So this is a good sign, right, Nazim? I think it's gone.
No, I'm not gone.
Oh,
Absolutely.
oh, there you are.
Absolutely. You know what I say? First impression is everything.
Mhm.
And this is the first impression here that you have created. And the vision that you espouse today is just phenomenal. I cannot say more. I would like other people to comment.
Awesome. Of course, if you have any questions, we are here. Otherwise, please take a break. That's okay. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Granny B, how are you doing?
Thank you. I want to actually comment on what he said there regarding this meeting and this opportunity. Imagine where I am. I come from a desert. When you look out this way, it's a desert. The closest large town is 400 kilometers away from me and the ocean on the other side.
Wow.
Where would I get any opportunity to grow my leadership skills? I use no passport and I travel to Canada. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Granny, for being on the team and being here today. I really appreciate that. You're jumping in at the last minute to do my evaluation. So thank you.
Brent and Brahm, this is Shrivanti, if I may.
Oh, hi, Shravanti.
Hey, how are you? Good to see
Oh,
you
awesome.
too.
At last I meet you.
Of course. Yes, yes. This is wonderful. Thank you for extending the invitation to me. I am super excited and I wish you the very best. This is wonderful. I loved your presentation, of course. Jim and Pat, thank you. Once again, it is wonderful to hear you speak, to hear you continue to inspire us by your example. And this has great prospect. I can't imagine that anyone would not want to develop as part of this club. I myself will stay engaged, if not as a member, definitely as a visitor, as a person who is supporting all of your endeavors. And as soon as I am done supporting the 6 clubs that I'm a member of already, I am sure I will step in and engage more. I wish you all the best and thank you so much. It's an honor to be involved.
It's an honor that you extended your assistance just on
anytime. Absolutely,
so
absolutely. And diversity in leadership is something we all should deeply care about. And as part of someone who is seeking variety in growing and giving back, I think this is a wonderful opportunity for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sravanti.
Dinesh, I see you have your hand raised. You're still on mute though, Dinesh.
At the same time, I would like to thank you.
No, hang a second. We have Dinesh Sharma. Sorry, who's first?
So first of all, thank you very much for this meeting. It's been wonderful listening to all the presentations. I have only 2 questions. One is how often the meetings would be. I heard it's on a Saturday morning, 9:30, which is great, but is it going to be weekly, bi-weekly, so meeting schedule? That's the first question I have it. And the second question that I have it is there a membership criteria or the membership fees? If somebody can explain that, but I'm definitely looking forward to be a part of this club.
Yeah, I can take that quick, Dinesh. So it is going to be a weekly meeting every Saturday morning, the same time at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. To your question, it is open to all Toastmasters who have former or current who have at least completed level 3 of their pathways, because we really do want to stress that it is an advanced club focused on specifically leadership development. We want to make sure that folks have some general sense of familiarity with pathways and pathway project completions, as well as standard meeting protocol. And lastly, the fee structure is going to be the normal Toastmasters fees plus a club fee. So it will be $55 semi-annually. Because we are looking to charter the club immediately, given that we're in February, the initial fee is going to be $75 because that will be for a 8-month period versus just a 6-month period. So $75 for the first go, and then thereafter it'll be $55 every 6 months USD. And if you click on the link in the chat, it'll provide that information for you, as well as provide you with an opportunity to express interest in registering as a charter member.
Sign me up. I'm going to sign it up right now. I've already completed the level 3. I'm now pathway level 3, and I've done some projects in level 4 and level 5 also. So
wonderful.
Oh wow!
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Sharav Day, I think you've had your hand up for a little bit. Sharav?
Sure. Brent, in the interest of time, should I ask you my question later?
I think we've got time for your question, and then we probably will reconvene after that.
Sure. Actually, Brent, it's not a question. I just want to thank you and thank Brahm just for taking the initiative for coming up with this club, for coming up with the idea for this club. I'm very excited about the potential and the momentum that this club is going to generate. I'm personally looking forward to being a member, and just thank you so much for inviting me, Brahm. It's been an amazing morning.
Awesome. Thank you. We're looking forward to having you on board.
Great.
Same here. Likewise, Brahm.
And it is time to reconvene our Zelius meeting. And into the second half of the meeting, I would like to bring back our Toastmaster of the day, Brent.
Thank you very much, Nikita. Next up, we are going to move into the evaluation portion of our meeting. Even with keynote speakers, we are going to provide a couple of evaluations. But first up, I'd like to start by introducing our general evaluator of the day. Erica Milando is the current director of District 74. She's been a Toastmaster since 2017, and in that time, since 2017, has delivered 130 prepared speeches. She is also the founder of Scarlet Speaking Labs, where she provides coaching on public speaking, as well as helping organizations improve their employee engagement, while at the same time increasing customer satisfaction. Erica Milando. Erica?
Thank you.
All right. I think that Erica has been struggling a little bit with her Wi-Fi connection today. And in order to ensure that we continue on with the continuity of the meeting, and thank you, everybody for your patience. I'd like to actually invite my backup general evaluator, the former district director of District 86, Vitaly Fursov. Vitaly, if you wouldn't mind stepping up and assisting while Erica may or may not be able to reestablish her Wi-Fi connection. Vitaly?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. I am zealous to provide a backup general evaluation to this meeting. Let's begin our evaluation from hearing the reports. And the first report, I will invite our grammarian, Anya. Anya, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Vitaly. Great meeting so far. Congratulate all the speakers. That was awesome, possum, as I say. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Most of you that know me know that I say that all the time. So the word of the day, as far as I can tell, was used 7 times. Wonderful. It is not easy to use a word of the day in a prepared speech. I know how that goes. I hardly ever make that. So I congratulate you. I could hardly hear any filler words. And that tells me that we have really advanced Toastmasters here. That is wonderful. I did hear from 2 of the speakers, okay, and you know. And I think we put that in our language sometimes so automatically that we don't even know that we did that. So just be aware of that. A couple of things that that stood out to me, and I'm sorry, Brahm, I was so enthralled by the technology that you used. I totally missed out on using good grammar or word usage or phrase usage. But I really like when you said the grumpy old guy. That kind of lightened up the mood and made us think about you. Then catch people doing something right. Woohoo, yes, that is so good. And sometimes when we dislike people or can't see anything in common with them, I always think I gotta find one thing that I can compliment them on. It's so important to make people feel good. Pat, you said you want to take us on a bit of a journey. I always like when somebody says that in the beginning of their speeches, because that really makes me think, oh, I got to listen what they have to say. And hugging the trunk of a tree, amazing to stay in your comfort zone. Yolanda, an eagle always soars above the challenges. And another one that I really liked from Yolanda was leaders effectively communicate the vision and drives the team to accomplish it. Thank you very much, everybody, and well done.
Thank you, Anya. My apologies for not following the agenda. I made an assumption that all evaluations will be silent today because Brahm invited me to provide a silent evaluation. However, I now see that we do have a speech evaluator. And let me invite here, ladies and gentlemen, our Leadership Speak Evaluator, Granny Botha. Granny, please take the stage.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster, General Evaluator. What a precious moment we are busy with here in time. I'm going to take hold of your evaluation by looking at 3 specific aspects. I'm going to have a look at your content, your presentation, and then the value and connection to the audience. Let's begin with the content. Well, Brahm, absolutely amazing content, specifically how you captured us with the story. I don't know why I became muted. You took us to specific problems that we could associate with, and then you systematically took us through this journey of the unexpected. And I did go between views to look at the audience, and I watched the audience intently, and I saw how their eyes were gleaming on you, and people like me, the nodders were nodding. So you definitely have captured the audience with your content. Well done on that. If I was to give a recommendation on the content, I might say your opening was factual, but maybe you would give us a sneaky, power-packed starter or closer. That's probably where I would add a recommendation for you. Looking at your presentation, definitely I was wowed. I'm a picture person. I need to see pictures so that I can understand, and you catered for me. Thank you. And I'm sure there are so many other people that can relate to that, so that we could see how the leadership aspect and engagement can work, because the problems that you were verbalizing and voicing was so that each and every one of us can pinpoint those in our clubs and in our situations. Yes, you did have a moment in the beginning where you were a little bit, I won't say uncertain with your technology, but you were feeling things out, for want of a better word. But you continued with, I felt at ease. I felt you became confident and you were quite smooth. In fact, you were watching your presentation well, and you stepped to the side when you saw that it was taking over the screen and you needed to. Sometimes maybe a little bit too much, but it was okay. We could still gather what was taking place. So well done on that as well. Then the value and the connection for the audience, as I said, they were glued. And it was absolutely so valuable. I believe that not only were you successful with this specific, but you engaged us, you inspired us, and very cheekily, you gave us something to want to look forward to. Brahm, well done. Can't wait for the next speech and where you're taking us further, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Granny. What a wonderful evaluation. Our next speech evaluator today is my great friend, Sandy Emden, member who always making a difference. And by the way, Sandy is a recipient of Member Making a Difference Award. Sandy, I invite you to the virtual stage.
Thank you, Vitali. Fellow Toastmasters, and most especially Yolanda. Leading by an eagle's example was your title. I can't see you, so I'm just going to pretend I can. You have so many areas of speaking that are so polished and professional. Couple of things that I really liked today, especially in that virtual world, is your use of slides very effectively. For me, I love the idea that in my listening and learning. If you link anything to the teaching, it really works for me. So linking leadership to an eagle landed on my brain very successfully, and I like that approach. The qualities, I guess what I want to do now, I'm a bit nervous. I want to give you some ideas of things that I would change in your speech that I think, in terms of the wording, would take it up and make it soar like an eagle, if you would. I like alliteration. And near the end of your presentation, you had 3 circles. One was communication, one was collaboration, and I was waiting for another C word like commitment or connection, just because alliteration lands on me that way. In terms of titles, a couple of things that you said that jumped out for me that I would have preferred to see as your title. No matter what, Yolanda Bynum. I love that, no matter what. It was a theme that weaved through your presentation. Or ignite your team. That also caught my listening, and I think those would be great for an option or an alternate title. In your conclusion, I found that it wrapped up quickly, and I think it was be like an eagle and soar. And since the presentation was on leadership, I would have loved it to be something like, if you would like to lead like an eagle. I don't know, I would have, maybe I'm not saying that right. Lead like an eagle and soar, perhaps. I was really looking and listening because I wanted to find something I, as a speaker, love to get nuggets for, just a way to change it up or places to place impact. I loved it. I felt like it was a workshop. I loved the your Zoom presence and your slides. I learned so much during your presentation, and I too want to soar like an eagle with my leadership skills. I'm really happy I came today and had an opportunity to see you speak, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sandy. What a zealous and constructive evaluation. Thanks a lot. Moving on, timers report. Sean, please take the stage.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, timers report. Again, I am always asked to provide this. Wow, you guys are amazing for evaluations. I gotta make notes of you guys, how you can give constructive evaluations and within the times. Kudos to you guys. Okay, I'm gonna start off with, I believe Anya. I didn't even know that we were timing grammarians, so I'm learning a lot. So again, in our club, we don't do that, but amazing. Anya, you were 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Great job there. Granny, you were 3 minutes and 30 seconds, right on the dot. And Sandy, you were 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Once again, congratulations to you guys all, and back to you, Mr. Vitale.
Thank you so much. Moving on, my part. Evaluating the meeting overall. First of all, congratulations to everybody. We are truly international community meeting here without borders, without technological borders, I would say. And I congratulate the leadership team who organized this meeting for making people aligned to take on roles in case you need us to. Like myself, I was invited to the role of general evaluator right on spot when we realized that the technology is not working for our general evaluator. Well done. And yesterday, Brahm reached out, or a couple of days ago, also reached out for other roles as well. And that is quality. Thank you for doing that. Keep doing that. I also congratulate everybody for great use of technology. Look at this crowd. The lighting is perfect. The sound was nearly perfect for almost all presenters. At times we have glitches, but I would blame the quality of my internet. It's too cold outside. Now, some parts where I would love to see improvements. I would recommend leaders consider preparing links and share links right at the beginning of the meeting, link to your agenda, link to the club's website, and another link to the guest feedback form. I understand this is the first meeting. Maybe your focus right now is on the sign-up form. I understand that. For the future, maybe guest feedback form would be helpful. At the beginning of the meeting, specifically special events like this one, I would absolutely recommend to follow the protocol and recognize your current leaders in the room, specifically current international leaders, current district leaders. Recognize your past leaders in the room. And we have so many today at this meeting. That's a great thing to do. Lead by example. And Jim Kokocki, thank you so much for doing that when you realize that we missed that portion at the beginning of the meeting. Well done. Now, I guess that would conclude all my recommendations for today. And let me ask Erica if her technology is working, and maybe she will provide a couple of more recommendations and feedback. Erica, can you join me on the stage for a couple of minutes? Awesome. The stage is yours.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to commend. I've observed there was a fantastic almost a pre-work before the meeting started. I was so privileged to be part of that process, and I want to say Brahm has a very unique way of connecting or networking by inviting Toastmasters or members across the globe by personally inviting them. He mentioned that, but I can confirm that that's how he does it. It's based on relationships, and it's really a fantastic network tip that I've always also implemented in my life, but now I can just see it is very effective if you do it that way. You feel special, you feel you are part of this big vision, and well done for the way you are doing that, Rob. Because do you realize that by inviting every single person individually, it takes a lot of time, but you made the effort, and I just want to commend you for that. The other observation that I made is that you met with the role players prior to the club meeting, prior to this launch. And I have to say, it's something that it makes a difference, because you get to know each other behind the scenes. And when you're in the meeting, it feels like I know Brent already, and I know Jamie, I know, because we had a discussion prior to today, and we got to know each other a little bit better. I also want to say, in the beginning of the meeting, the welcoming was, I really appreciated the welcoming in the Zoom lounge, when we opened the Zoom lounge prior to the actual meeting. It's greeting everyone and making everyone feel at home. And so I just want to say that I appreciated that, and allowing the participants of the guests to say a few words. That really assisted the flow and the energy of the club meeting. What I would like to recommend at that stage is the renaming. I was so curious to see from what country is everyone, and perhaps Brahm knows everyone that we don't. So it would be lovely to see from what country, unless someone says, I am from Namibia, India, we don't know. So it will be great if it's attached to your name. I know there's a district number. I promise you I forgot those numbers already. Yeah, but I just want to say the quality of the speeches, the presentation, the flow and the transition between the roles, especially from our Toastmasters of the day, very well done for explaining why, what, how, because it's very critical at this stage already for understanding why this club has been launched and why we are here. And I am very proud and very excited to be part of this amazing journey itself. I should stop now.
Well done. Thank you so much. And that would conclude the general evaluation session. Back to you, Mr. Chair and Club President Brent Patterson.
Thank you very much to both of our general evaluators. I like that approach, having two general evaluators, maybe something that we could even think of a way to employ in the future. That's great. Folks, we are nearing the end of our meeting. We are through the full agenda of the meeting. First off, I just wanted to stop and say thank you to everyone who was able to attend our meeting this morning. I also want to take a special moment to thank all of the dignitaries who joined and helped make this meeting happen. Special thank you to all of our guest speakers today with their wonderful speeches. It's truly appreciative, and the willingness of this group to come together to try to launch a new club focused on leadership development is inspiring and truly motivational for myself personally to really want to ensure the success of this club, not only to become a charter club, but really to move into innovating towards how we can make this club better and take the learnings from this club and apply it to our local clubs as well, by being more effective mentors and coaches within the Toastmasters community. On that note, we have a little bit of time for comments and questions. I know, Mukhtar, you wanted to say something earlier, so I want to come back to you if you had a question.
Thank you very much. My name is Mukhtar. I'm from Somalia. I'm a member of a Toastmaster in Istanbul. I would like to thank you, Toastmaster and Groovies. And also I would like to thank you, professional speakers in this stage. Really, I'm very excited how you organized the virtual stage. And really, I'm new. I joined the stage before 1 week. So still, I am new. I didn't adapt the process and protocol and system maybe. So thank you, all of you. I have no question now, but just I'm very excited how you organized like this meeting.
Thank you very much, Mukhtar. Again, just a reminder to anyone who is interested in becoming a charter member for the club, the link has been posted in the chat on a couple of occasions. Please feel free to hit that link. We also, of course, because everyone who registered for the event, we probably will follow up for that feedback that I think is so essential for us to ensure the success of the club. Hitesh Parmar. Hitesh, I see you had your hand raised.
Thank you, Brian. First of all, T-9 and counting, we have liftoff, Houston, and then coming to 1100 hours, Houston, the Eagle has landed. Now, what I have a comment on is how would you be addressing the leadership gap between the Rotary movement? Because there is a big requirement for Rotary leaders to become actually better speakers and better leaders. How would you incorporate that into this club? By having these the criteria of having to finish 3 speeches is a little probably daunting for them because they don't have any way to start off with.
So I think the bridging of the gap there is an awareness of clubs that are in their local area. By all means, the vast majority of clubs are still accepting and seeking new members in their local areas, and finding a Toastmasters club, whether be it a virtual club and an international club like MySpeak, which was initiated as a traditional Toastmasters Club, but launched in a very virtualized environment. But of course, there are still local clubs in nearly every area across the planet. So I definitely would encourage folks to join a traditional Toastmasters Club, immediately engage in the Pathways program so that they can quickly complete their level 3, so that then they can meet that prerequisite and then join and receive the benefits of becoming a member of Leadership Speak.
Thank you.
Okay. On that note, folks, I do want to be respectful of everyone's time. I am going to hang out here for a little bit longer and welcome Brahm as well to hang out, but I'd like to officially adjourn our meeting today. But of course, we'll keep the forum open for anyone who would like to stay for any comments or additional questions. Brahm, over to you.
Thank you. What I was going to mention is that today we didn't have table topics because it is a launch meeting. We will be having, of course, the normal table topics starting next week and a normal meeting with whatever we've said we will be doing. It'll be all incorporated next week and you will really see how the club operates. So be sure to come here next week. Also, we will be having a 20-minute workshop on evaluations by one of the topmost champions in evaluations in North America, who has also trained many world championship of public speakers. He'll be here, Jeff Stein, to do that workshop. You don't want to miss that. So that will be happening next week. And then we have past international president Mohammed Murad slated later on in February, and the incoming president, the incoming international president for next year, Matt Kinsey, will be speaking soon as well at the club. So there'll be events all the time about leadership throughout our first few weeks in existence to get you all going. And then every few weeks we will have somebody come in and do these presentations on a regular basis so that we keep at the top level of being leaders and develop ourselves as leaders, because the focus is leadership development. So we will be constantly challenging ourselves to step outside the comfort box, as Pat Johnson had challenged us. So questions from the audience? We are open. Thank you.
Vinod, I know you had asked that you wanted to speak.
Hi, am I audible, Brent?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Yeah, good evening from Dubai, everyone. Now, I would really like to thank and commend the organizers to think about first such a club. It really felt like a virtual global village, and I enjoyed the complete 2 hours. One question that I wanted to ask was, were the speeches from the paths, the speeches that were there for today, were it from, was it from some path, or it was just for a demo, the speakers came and gave a speech?
They were all from a path, and so they were evaluated on a pathways. All the 4 speakers, even the keynote speakers, they had a pathways from which they were presenting, and they will be getting silent speeches. Mine was from the pathways, that's strategic relationships. Level number 3, yes, level number 3, connecting with the audience. So that was my path, and Yolanda had her path, and so they were all from paths.
Okay, now it's just like what you said, being a pathways guide. So whenever some speech happens, if I don't get that path and which speech was that, I always think, okay, what happened over here? So thank you very much. But I enjoyed that. And yesterday I was giving VP membership makeup COT, and a lot of members asked this question that virtually we are feeling, oh, there are a lot of membership that is dropping, that clubs are facing. And I said, the club that I am member of is gaining a lot of members, and 2 main reason is everybody has a front seat in a virtual meeting, and second, whatever somebody speaks, it directly goes to the heart. Tell the guest that video communication is the future and get them. So I am all in over here. It's been a pleasure to be with all the dignitaries over here. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinod.
Dr. Supriya, I see you've got your hand up.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Brahm, for inviting me. And it's 2 hours. How it is spent, well, I don't know. It's full of knowledge. It's full of insightful session. And I must recommend my all friends to be the member. It's really, really innovative for once again inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Supriya. I'm glad that you're here. Over to you, Brent.
Peggy online. Peggy?
Yes, thank you, Brent. I'd like to congratulate everybody on a really great start-off meeting. And it's really refreshing to see that Toastmasters is also looking at a club that focuses on leadership, because quite often we do focus more on the communication, and the leadership is just something that we do on the side. So it is so refreshing to see that leadership is the major focus of this club. And I congratulate you on that, for recognizing that leadership is so important to Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters as well. So congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much, Peggy. The floor is open if anybody had any other comments or questions. Ray Rivero. Ray?
Yes, thank you very much for your invite and let me come to your meeting. What Pat Johnson said about stepping out of the comfort zone is so very important. I can't think of a better picture than just stepping out of the comfort zone, because when I think about leadership, that's exactly what we have to do. But how do we step out of our comfort zone, or what type of skills or even the journey forward? And that's one of the things I'm interested in, is learning how to step out of the comfort zone, and most importantly, encouraging others to do so. I'm personally running into some problems of trying to gauge members to do that. Some of them not only are almost anti-pathways, but sometimes also anti-technology. And one of the things I would like to get out of this club is, how do I try to encourage these members that this is not the enemy? Technology is not the enemy. Pathways is not the enemy. It's a matter of just, how do I encourage these members to the best of my ability to try to go forward with their journey in Toastmasters with this new world.
So you want them to be engaged, right? So I will ask Sandy here. Sandy here has no technology. And from yesterday to today, how she jumped the hoop of technology. Sandy, over to you.
I thought I had you sign an oath of confidentiality.
Please share.
Well, I'll tell you, in our club in Sudbury, Ontario, the way that we are having members reduce their technology anxiety and increase their comfort with it is by making sure, I'm not going to talk about what I did yesterday with Brahm. What I want to tell you is what we do at our club to reduce the anxiety about technology, or the resistance, really. I discovered months into the year that the reason why people weren't signing up on the sign-up sheet or doing roles, many people didn't know step one and were afraid to ask. Once I found that out, I made sure at every meeting, does everybody know how to sign, like to use this piece of the technology? In the last 24 hours, I've learned what a ping is, what the WhatsApp is, how to use a green screen, how to upload a backdrop, all kinds of things like that, because of several hours of coaching yesterday by Master Brahm. But at the club level, nobody wants to look stupid. Nobody wants to put their hand up and say, what do you mean? What is a ping, or pin the timer? So I think taking the club all together, experienced Toastmasters or not, Zoom and communicating in this virtual world has leveled the playing field. We all have to learn how to do it together. So making sure that culture of we're in a learning lab every week, we learn and lift each other up and to become better. So I think as long as you start at step one, and I've started step one 100 times if I have to. Does everybody know how to sign up? Does everybody know how to schedule a speech? So take everybody together and encourage a culture of lightheartedness. In my club, everybody refers every week to being in the learning lab. I don't know how we started that. So that's the long answer. Sorry.
Thank you, Sandy. And then we have Sravanti Valampati.
I first have to say how nicely you say Sravanti. I have not heard a non-Telugu, Telugu is my mother tongue, a non-Telugu or a non-Indian ever say my name like that. And it is the correct way to say my name. So thank you, Brahm, for doing that. Everyone says Shravanti. They say Shravanti because it's how it's comfortably said. So thank you for saying that. And as soon as someone poses a problem, I say, okay, I have my analyst hat, the invisible one that's always there, just comes into high gear. And I don't want to sound like a problem solver, but the resistance to technology, I think we've all handled differently, right? There's no secret to that. We all learn differently, act differently, do things differently, and problem solve differently too. So as a sponsor mentor for 3 clubs during the pandemic, I can tell you this much. There are 2 aspects that I have found enormously valuable, and I just wanted to share that. As a lot of us, whether it is technology or whether it is pathways or whether it is, just the newness of this whole pandemic or the fatigue that we are experiencing, can be handled 2 ways, or we must at least think about handling it 2 ways. One is the psychological aspect, and the other is the practical aspect of it. Right? The psychology behind what is new, I don't know. I don't think I have time for this. Oh, I think it's too difficult, or whatever it is, others can do it. I don't have talent to do this. And to me, that psychological aspect, we can just handle by holding someone's hand and making that connection and giving that level of comfort, saying, you know what, I felt exactly the same way, connect with them differently. And the practical aspect is to create awareness, like Sandy said, whether it is one-on-one like Sandy and Brahm, or to have these, big town halls to say, hey, let's get comfortable with technology. I come from District 10. I had the honor of serving the district when the pandemic hit. So I know a little bit about this, right? So we rank, and if anyone is interested, maybe we could even do District 10's, a town hall with District 10, and this is an open offer. I haven't asked my trio, but I will say I can ask them. I'm not on the trio now, but I can ask my fellow leaders and friends here in District 10. In the 3 months that we were in the pandemic before my district director year ended, we ended up 15th in the world with bringing clubs online, the maximum number of clubs online. So to me, I say that with utter humility. I have goosebumps as I say that, and a lot of pain, but we did technology. We did technology, and out of the 16,743 clubs that existed when the pandemic hit, I can tell you, coming up 15th is, I'm done, right? So it felt good. So I'm going to say it can be done. It can be done. It will take one-on-one connections. It will take a lot of hard work, but we must stay inspired. So I just wanted to share that. Please don't forget the psychology of it and address the practicality of it differently. So if we can have them play hand in hand, I know that we can come through. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, Shravanti. Wes Hillstrom.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brahm. I just want to thank you for the invitation to attend this meeting. I thoroughly enjoyed all the presentations. I'm looking forward to becoming a member.
Oh, thank you, Wes. We'll be in touch and get you the necessary forms. Let me just note your name down. Oh, okay. So yeah, thank you, Wes, and just fill in that form, okay, if you can, or Nikita, if you can note down Wes's name, and then we will contact Wes again, because I've got another question coming up with Shorov, so I'll take Shorov and then address that. So thank you. Shorov, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sure, Brahm. So, I'm hearing a lot about this resistance to technology, and of course, that is not something that's taken us by surprise. One of the things that Brahm, you did personally that I thought was exceptional in terms of driving adoption, towards technology, was the fact that Brahm actually gave one-on-one customer service, if I could use that phrase, to each one of our Toastmasters. Many months ago, when the pandemic hit, in fact, I think it's been over a year, Brahm held this session that was 2 to 3 hours long on a Wednesday evening. And he invited Toastmasters from several different clubs. And he advised people on lighting. He advised people on sound quality. He advised people on increasing their comfort level and becoming more comfortable with this new environment that we're working in. And I saw very quickly, Brahm, I was an observer in that meeting. I didn't participate too much, but I observed how you engaged every single Toastmaster. And I can say with such a high degree of confidence that hesitance that everyone felt, to adopt this new world that we're living in, that resistance, became adoption. It became preference. It became the preferred way of interacting with people. And that was thanks to you, Brahm. And I would certainly love to use that strong example and use it to conquer all that psychological fear that Shravanti meant, all that, the practicality aspect that Shravanti adhered to. I resonate everything that everyone has said on this call. But I think that in addition to, providing those one-pagers and documents on how to adopt to Zoom, how to use our systems online, and how to truly welcome this technology environment, that one-on-one service, one-on-one conversations with many people in a group is certainly very valuable. And I think that would be phenomenal in terms of adoption. So Brahm, if you'd like to coach some other mentors in Toronto and all over the world, and just give them guidance on how to have that conversation with Toastmasters over the Zoom meeting, give them some guidance on how to generate adoption, how to reduce the resistance, how to change that resistance into preference, I think that would be amazing. And we have a lot to learn from you, Brahm, in that regard.
Awesome. And you can come aboard on the team, and we can do it together, Shorov.
Sure.
Thank you so
pleasure,
much
Brahm.
for the appreciation. Much appreciated. Mukhtar again. Mukhtar?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I would like to ask you, just we were talking topic about leadership development. So there is, when we applying the leadership development to the different sectors, let me to give you one example. Just I specialize at business administration. So when I stay business stage, I know how to do. I can make a planning, organizing, directing, control and evaluation, and how to manage my staff. But when I stay the other stages, like political stage or social stage or public stage, maybe I cannot handle that stages, or I don't know how to apply the leadership tool to these sectors, to those sectors. So my question is how I can apply the leadership tool to all sectors.
Yes. So one of the reasons why we said that you should have done at least pathways number 3 is pathways number 4 and pathways, level 4 and level 5 specifically focused on leadership skills in the pathway, in every pathway. Level 4 and 5 is based on projects and putting teams together. And so you can experiment that in Toastmasters. And we have a very strong base of mentors and coaches who will be in the club that will mentor you through that process of level 4 and level 5, so that you make as many mistakes as you can in there, and then take it out and learn, and then take it out in the world and do what you have to do, Mukhtar. So it will be available in level 4 and 5, the projects that that will help you be what you want to be in the world out there. So you're welcome to join, Mukhtar. If you've done level 3 or are about to even complete level 3, we will welcome you to sort of make sure that you speed through level 3 and then join up.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So just fill in the form, at least I need this for information purposes, and then we'll get in touch, Mukhtar. Thank you. Okay, so I don't see any more hands up. Do I see any more hands up currently?
Before I take leave, I want to say thank you. Thank you once again. I did put it in the chat for Brahm. Excellent, excellent work. I am so honored to be here, and anything anyone needs, I'm happy to help. Like I said, I might even consider becoming a member if I can find those couple of extra hours on my Saturday morning. But I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you. And for those of us who are not at level 3 or looking to complete level 3, there are plenty of clubs that invite you as guest speakers. Myself being one of them, I am happy to invite you to any of the clubs that I belong. So please ping me. I'd be delighted to have you come and bring a new perspective to any of our clubs to enable you to get to level 3 and beyond. So, and then you can come back and join the club too. So wonderfully done. Thank you, Brahm. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Shravanti. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Neela, and any comments, Neela? I know you sent me a private message there. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, Brahm. It still say I'm muted. Oh,
no, you're good. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, thanks for the invite. I will. I'll fill the form and send it in. I'll join the club.
Oh, all right. Awesome. Thank you for being inspired. Thank you for inspiring me.
Oh, yeah, actually, one of my path that I have to work on is leadership as well.
Oh, okay. Which pathways is that? Like strategic leadership, or there's a couple of them, right?
Yeah, I can't even remember which one. It's presentation I'm working on presentation mastery. I've just started it, and then our club wasn't meeting, so our club's in trouble. So that's why I haven't done anything in a while, and I've been really busy too.
Okay. And so whichever club that is, we will make sure that you get the tools to help your club.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks again for the invite. Thanks, Nikita.
Thank you, Neela.
Yeah,
I've known Neela for quite a number of years now. We met at the conference, I believe, many years back.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah.
I know it was mentioned that you have to be level 3 pathways, but nobody's mentioned that if you're already a DTM or did district leadership, I think that should be included.
What we are doing is we are encouraging people to jump on pathways, because there's a lot of resistance by some senior members not to get on pathways, right? So we are encouraging people to be on pathways, because if you want to join a club like this, you need to be speaking from pathways, and you need to be on track with pathways rather than resisting pathways. Then you can be a member in this club, because this is all about leadership. It's exemplifying Toastmasters values and where we stand currently. So if you have a resistance to certain technology or pathway, technology will take you. But if you have resistance to pathways, then I'm afraid we need to have a conversation that we can get you on board pathways, and then you can please join. Certainly. But technology, no problem. Like, we can train anyone to jump on technology. And here's the reason why. In my Speak Toastmasters Club, we have members who are 18 years old. They're fine with technology. We have 81 years old. We took them step by step by step through several weeks before now they were proficient and they have no problem with technology. So, and if you're resistant to pathways, let's have a conversation. Let's have a talk. I think we just need to have a conversation and change that mind shift. That's all about leadership. So please let me know if you need to have a conversation with me or many of the other leaders that are present here in this room. So thank you.
Yeah, pathways. I'm still a pathways guide, so I don't have an issue with pathways. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much. For those of you who actually attended this meeting and are not certain, we will be sending out a recording of this meeting and an invitation to join next week so that you can be sure of joining us. We have Sam Sukumar, who is, I think, the Club Growth Director. Sam, are you there?
Yes, Brahmo, thank you for recognizing me there. Thank you very much. Been wonderful, really great. I've been around from the start of this meeting, and excellent the way you structured it. One question I had was, I know you specified that everyone has to be at least at level 3 to get around to become a membership. I'm just wondering what could be my ignorance, but I understand with Toastmasters, they expect at least a certain percentage of new members when you launch a new club. How are you able to get around that?
No, this is an advanced club. So and we've declared ourselves to be an advanced club, and we are registered as an advanced club. So as an advanced club, you have to have certain criteria of speaking already in a community club or corporate club before you can join an advanced club. So our criteria, as will be set in the bylaws, will be level 3.
Right. Okay. All right. Now, thank you very much. But otherwise, really, really, enjoyed the meeting and lots to take in. Thank you. Thank you, Brahm.
Thank you, Sam. And of course, we have another Club Growth Director, Tawfiq Ashiru. Tawfiq, how are you doing? By the way, before you say anything, Tawfiq, are you from Nigeria originally? Because your accent tells me that.
Hi, Brian. This is Tawfiq, originally from Nigeria, right?
Woohoo! Yes, I know my accents globally.
Yeah. Thanks, and thanks for inviting me. It's been quite nice connecting with you at different fora, and it's quite interesting. We're learning a lot. This club is quite interesting because it's one of the things that Toastmaster does, where leaders are made. So it's about leadership. Leaders are made, and they say leaders are performers. So they perform by talking, by speaking, and doing so many things. So you did a wonderful thing in terms of even the marketing was great. You were able to bring almost 100 people to a launch. That's fantastic. And and I hope that you'll be doing this every meeting, going to be like celebration, making the marketing super all the time, because that's about leadership. So we're learning a lot from this about, this I'll call new way of launching, using technology to your advantage. And we did talk about this during our mid-term training that delegates to technology. And I think you've done that very well. You've delegated to technology. This is superb. And I hope to be attending once in a while when I have the time. This is wonderful, cross-border, moving from one border to the other. I'm sitting here in New Orleans, very close to New Orleans in Louisiana. And, I have some other members, another club, leader from District 68 is here, Glenn, is also around. So we're here to learn a lot from you and wish you the best. And please reach out. We're all together to support each other. Thanks, Brent, for inviting us.
Thank you.
We can't
hear you. Couldn't hear you.
Sorry. I was just saying this is where leaders are made. And we are becoming better at being leaders. So Sam, you had your hand up. Sam?
Yep. Hello, Brahm. Well, just testing your accent expertise. Can you guess where I'm from or what I bring to the table?
Well, Sam, yours is a very difficult one to guess, really. You have a mix of accents. You've traveled the world and you've gone to several places, and now your accent is a mixed accent, so I can't place you. Just like nobody can place where I'm from, besides my features. But if you take my features out, even with my features, you won't be able to guess where I'm from. And I think that's a reasonable assumption, Sam. What do you think? Where are you from? You've traveled quite a bit.
Right. I think you're perfectly right. Yeah, I've done my dash around a few hemispheres around the world, but I guess I carry a lot from New Zealand.
Oh, New Zealand. Okay. And now you don't have that New Zealand accent. I mean, the McCoy real accent is changed a bit. Where are you currently?
Chicago.
There you go. Chicago's got you.
It all started for me in India, then moved to New Zealand, then to Chicago. So I guess a combination of all of it. In between, I spent a few other countries as well.
And ladies and gentlemen, here's the reason. Yes, sure, Sam. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I understood Sam's mixed accent is I was born, here's the secret. I'm letting it out now. I was born in Kenya. I studied in England, and then I moved to Canada. So Kenya, England, and Canada. And so that's my accent now that you hear, which is God knows what. So anyways, before I ask Nikita something, I would like to ask Glenn Pellegrin, because he's from outside the district. Glenn, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you very much. I'm sure my accent gives it away. Me and Tawfiq speak quite a bit alike. And yes, from Louisiana. And this has been a real joy to number one, to see how everybody speaks above I-10, the highway. And the second thing is, I really am so appreciative that you guys are concentrating on leadership, because I think it's a real given that, it's about conversation and communication, but the leadership is such an important thing, not only for Toastmasters, but outside of Toastmasters. So congratulations on the launch. Looking forward to joining and being a part of it.
Oh, wow. Awesome. Wonderful. All right, we'll be in touch, Glenn, in that case. That's wonderful and awesome. Let me just put your name down. Have you filled in the form?
Brahm, we can't hear you again.
Have that problem? I mean, my line is okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, you're back.
I'm back. Okay, sorry, it must be the intermittent connection at the moment. Thank you very much. Before I go on to Nikita, though, let me see if there's somebody in the audience. Yes, there is. I wanted to actually ask Mariana Burka, who is from District 86, and I met her the other day, and she was at Honeymoon City Toastmasters. Honeymoon City? Yes, because I said Niagara. Hi, Mariana.
Hi, Brahm. Thank you very much for inviting me, and it was a pleasure to be here, and I really enjoyed the meeting. And I'm coming back next week, and as some of you as well, I have to figure it out, my schedule, that how can I put this club meeting regularly in my life, but I will be here next Saturday. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Super. And thank you for being here, Mariana, and coming here and gracing our meeting. Really appreciate it. Thank you. All right, Nikita, our Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you. Well, I want to first say to Brahm, I did privately message you about the Namibian accent, that it's one you also won't identify. But I think for me, sometimes when I can't identify accents, I identify surnames, last names. And sometimes that works. Other than that, to Sam, who is in Chicago right now, one thing we have in common is that we both come from the windy, well, not that you come from Chicago, but it's known as the Windy City, and so is Windhoek, where I'm born. It's named in Dutch, which is Windy Corner, Wind Corner.
Wow.
So apart from us recognizing what connects us all, and like I said in the chat, I've learned something a lot. What I've learned today is that our connection is through this one, real connection is in the one-on-one conversations that we have. And I absolutely appreciated having a few more minutes, these last few minutes, to hear everybody's questions. I've taken a lot of notes, and I just want to say, Brahm, that in the future, I don't know if we will always have this much time for questions, but that was really useful for me. I especially also just to respond to the speeches that we've heard and to ask the follow-up questions. for me, they're quite vital, quite important in furthering my understanding, my learning, and in also preparing myself for the future as a leader. So thank you to everybody. Wonderful. And have a beautiful week ahead till our next meeting.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think we have asked everyone for their comments. We will be in touch with those who have expressed interest. I have to go off to another meeting. Is there any last minute burning question? There has been quite a considerable amount of interest. We will probably be chartered within 2 weeks. So if you want to be a charter member, don't hesitate to let me know. Connect with me, contact me, let me know right now. Or remain silent forever? No, don't. We are Toastmasters. Please speak, keep speaking. Thank you very much, everyone. This meeting is now finally over. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.